Welcome to All Things News, where we will bring you the latest news from around the world in one spot. In today's video, we will be looking at the Just Stop Oil protest happening in the UK. Since 2022, a new protest movement to stop oil production is emerging in the UK, and its protesters are using practices to attract attention that are often somewhat violent and destructive against civil society. If there is a place where no one would expect a series of protests that are affecting the daily lives of citizens, it is in the United Kingdom, mainly in England. This pro-environmental movement is called Just Stop Oil, and it is against business organizations that promote the use of fossil fuels throughout the world. Companies like Shell, among others, that inevitably due to failures in their factories, very often suffer from a gas or oil leak that directly impacts the ecology of the place where it is located, and this causes the extinction of fauna and flora of the place, as it is also something that forces the people who live there to move due to contamination. This happens very often in South Africa, but the English settlers who live near places that produce oil also suffer from it. This is why many activist groups against climate change have joined forces to create this movement that was founded in February 2022. Perhaps one of its most famous protests that went around the world was when a group of women with t-shirts with the phrase, "Just Stop Oil," entered the National Gallery in London to put ketchup on a painting by the famous painter Vincent van Gogh, and then they used glue to get on their hands and stick to the walls of the museum. This way it would be quite difficult to get them out, and it would also give them enough time to deliver their message. Without a doubt, this traveled around the world as many people have been outraged not by the message they have sent to the population, but by how they have done it. I mean, the idea of a protest is to get attention, but ruining a work of art that is hundreds of years old has little to do with the fact that corporations are hurting the world, something that has really upset the public society. Fortunately, something that these protesters did not expect was that the museum, perhaps similar to others all around the world, secures its art pieces very well, and if security fails, the glass will protect the painting, something that happened with this painting by Van Gogh. Following this, the movement sent a statement to the London government, calling for it to commit to an immediate halt to new oil and gas licenses in the UK and for directors, employees, and members of arts institutions to join the Just Stop Oil coalition in a peaceful civil proceeding. We know that it is not an easy task for any government to abandon this type of natural resource from one day to the next, because to do that the process must be planned for years, and it is even something quite complex for this to happen, because both London and any other modern city is incredibly dependent on this fossil resource, and the matter has become more difficult after Russia's invasion of Ukraine, where these resources are sorely lacking, and have to be bought from the highest bidder, as soon as possible. This mission that this movement has put on its back is really complex to carry out, and it is seen that they are not going to give up, because to this day, they continue to carry out this type of act to attract attention, and for the world to understand their message. The group claims that the UK government wants to give the green light to 40 new oil and gas fields in the North Sea, which is not compatible with protecting UK citizens, so they are going to fight anyway. For this to change, and climate change to slow down, this change must be within 8 years, otherwise it would be irreversible. Even if they demonstrate their message in this way, it may not be a very smart strategy, because they will be condemned by the public as children who only dedicate themselves to vandalizing places, and the public will have little time to listen to the message they have to give, because they will only remember 3 words that are engraved on the shirt of these people, but not much will happen. If there is something that even the protesters did not expect, it is that they do not really know where the real funding for this movement came from. Yes, they have a website where they can receive donations, but there are some people who have donated large amounts of money, and they are lobby groups that maybe have some strategy in the background to use these people to promote a political agenda. Some of these US millionaire donors happen to be Aileen Getty, who is the granddaughter of oil magnate Paul Getty. Are you telling me that the money to fund a movement to stop oil in the UK comes from someone involved in the same dirty business? This same person also owns a mansion and an apartment in Manhattan, two things that definitely use up too much energy, and that same energy must come from somewhere. This turns out to be totally ridiculous, and when Protestants are asked if they know about this, they don't have the slightest idea. In fact, the only information they know is that supposedly people who are interested in stopping oil production in the country donate, but they don't know that there are millionaires on the other side of the country who have some additional interests. Another celebrity who has donated large amounts of money to the movement was Adam McKay, the director of the Netflix film Don't Look Up, who has donated around $4 million, and is someone who has also been seen enjoying multiple airplane travel, that is, machinery that works thanks to the oil that he tries to stop its production. This is something that happens very often, but some people like the ones I mentioned above are known as lobbyists, people who put money into movements to destabilize a government that has a contrary ideology. That is to say, it does not make sense for someone to donate to movements for other countries, when he could do it with his own country, the United States, but this practice is quite regular. This movement usually takes advantage of the ingenuity of the protesters, who are generally quite young people and tend to have good intentions, but when they are led by people they do not know, and these people give them strange ideas, such as ordering them to destroy pieces of art, paint in clothing stores and block the streets to make a demonstration, it is not something with good intentions, quite the opposite. If we look at the videos about these demonstrations, they tend to be mostly children as young as 18 to 20 years old, and in fact, in the surveys the majority of the protesters are between 18 and 30 years old, so we see a clear pattern of what is the target to look for. At the present time of the movement, now having more members, they carry out protests in the middle of the street. Once again, perhaps this strategy is something that affects them, instead of helping them. Without a doubt, if the mission of this movement is to promote the message throughout the world, beyond the United Kingdom, it has succeeded, because many are talking about Just Stop Oil, including us right now in this video. What they need to achieve will be somewhat more challenging, as turning off the oil tap in a nation as dependent on it as England, will be hard to witness. Stopping the use of oil cannot be done overnight, nor will that be in the government's plans at the moment, even if these people threaten to continue holding these types of demonstrations. We will have to wait and see if these protests will ever create positive change in the world, or will it just create more tension among the people. What is your opinion about the things they do, such as destroying pieces of art? Do you think they are right? Leave me your opinion below in the comments, and if you liked the video please leave a like and subscribe to this channel to see more similar videos and activate the notification bell so that YouTube will notify you when we upload a new video. We upload videos every week, don't miss it. You will not regret it. Thank you.